Hmm. Well, that was a fucking cloud if I ever seen one. Shit. All right, the sativas in my veins. Celebrating a first place win yesterday, though it wasn't 100 grand, because of these pieces of shit like Whistles Go Woo, who steal my money, my $100,000 takedown. But unfortunately, I had to share it with 18 other cocksuckers. But I like to show it off because it feels good to win again because it puts the spirit in my system. But of course, we got to build up the bankroll. So we've already done our lineups, our 20 allowance, 20 lineup allowance, our system to make 20 lineups, not overblow your fucking wallet, and perhaps every now and then want to win out of your ass. Second big win of the year. You don't win often, but when you do, put it this way, it buys back all your losses. However, we still have those spreadsheet cunts to beat, so we cannot rest on our laurels. In order to do that, we cannot bankrupt ourselves chasing every $10 game, because unfortunately, that's what the spreadsheet cunts do. So we got to build ourselves up in the $1 and $3 rounds, in the little games, the fours and the ones. But we're practicing our system. This way we lock it in, perfect it, so that this way, when we get to all the $10 and the $15 and the $20, we're ready for the $1,000,000 rounds, the $100,000 rounds, the $300,000 rounds, the $500,000 rounds, all the fucking rounds. This is what happens when you fuck up your Bumble dating. You sit at home and you make lineups. I can't do the Bumble. I'm trying. My friends do it. They're getting laid on there. I do. I want to fucking punch everybody in the head. How many fucking bland conversations can you fucking have? However, you don't want to hear about that shit. You want the system. We're going to play a card game. It's always a $17,000 deficit. You always notice that. Whoever makes these fucking DraftKings math, got to figure out how to figure out. Got to figure out how to figure them out. Got to figure how to figure. Start saying those names. Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler, DeAndre Hopkins, Kyler Murray. Taking the best, the top of the deck. We want to try and get as much of that top of the deck as possible inside of our lineups. Pray to God. You know what it is? I started, you start doing all the subscription services because you think, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Let me defer to the awesomos, to the established the runs, to the fucking optimizers, to the this, to the that. And sometimes their shit's entertaining. I'm not going to say it's not. You'll pull a player out of your ass occasion, but I realize more and more, unless you're doing it yourself, it's not fun. I was like, well, this isn't fun. This is work. Well, you know what? If this is work, then fuck you. But there are people that do this for a living. I mean, I'd love to be one of those people, but I don't know. I feel like it involves a lot of staring at a fucking computer screen. All right, Williams is out. You guys skip to Palmer. We'll have to read about Mr. Williams just to figure out who's getting brought up. Keith Brown's on the IR. Rondale Moore's out, but we got to read about all of them. No Chase Daniel. Trace McSorley missed the stick. Gerald Everett finding himself in a captain's position. AJ Green. We got hot chicks all over the building for Thanksgiving. DeAndre Carter. Josh. My dog's got her best friend over for the weekend. While her daddy's at the fights. Greg fucking Dortch. System would have worked if the rest of the fucking lineup would have caught up to him, but I had Greg Dortch in that captain spot. Not a lot of people did. In the end, it fucked me. I didn't have enough good supporting cast. The core did not come through. If the core doesn't come through, guess what? You're losing. The system is based on your core coming through. You're basically essentially running the same four cards as much as you can, and you're changing out the 1 and the 6. You're changing out the captain, you're changing out the 6. That's how I do it. That's how I like to do it. It's fun for me to do it this way. And this is how I've won. Whenever I've done other systems and paid for other systems, I'm not saying that it's not on me too. I'm not one of those assholes where it's their fault. I'm just simply saying is I don't feel like they give you enough because whatever the fuck I was doing wasn't winning. And I don't like the vague shit. I don't like that leave it up to me to do it. You know what? I'm a fucking moron. I want a fucking service that walks me through the whole goddamn thing. Essentially, what I'm basically saying is I think, yeah, it is. It's like paying for lineups. Good, but that's what we want at the end of the fucking day. We don't know what to put in. Goddamn speculation. It's all fucking card speculation. We're opening up packs of fucking cards in this big giant game. Spiller. Who will be the optimal captain? This here game we call football. I'm thinking about putting some lineups in on the Iron Bowl tomorrow because I went to an Alabama game this year. Went to the Alabama Texas A&M game. I had a fucking blast. I really enjoyed going to that Alabama game. And I'm almost telling myself that I'd like to make it like a yearly tradition. I would like to go to an Alabama game every year. It's what just a beautiful that Alabama fucking stadium. I think was better than most stadiums I've seen. Like most NFL stadiums. I was just in Lambeau, and the sound system in the Alabama stadium was fucking 85 times better than Lambeau. We'll get into that later. Need water, because I smoke a lot of weed. This water break is brought to you by water. Oh, motherfucker. All right. Movies, filters. Ooh. Yeah, you vague bitch. This one cute Puerto Rican hooker trying to fuck. Oh, she's just vague. I don't like vague. Vague usually means they're fucked up. Come see me at work. Which means come pay for lap dances. I don't want to pay for lap dances. I want to fuck. I want to fuck you naked on a bed. Am I so picky? Sorry. So I don't think that's happening with that fucking hooker. I really wish I could date. I'm just not good at it. I'm not good at dating. I'm a very selfish prick. I like my bulldog, I like smoking herb, and I like fucking writing comic books. I swim twice a day and I eat like a horse. May not be a long life, but it'll be a good life. All right, let's get to the cards. Let's get to the cards. My favorite part of the fucking game. Austin Eckler carried the ball 19 times, 83 yards, and a touchdown, and caught both of his targets for 17 yards. In Sunday's loss to the Chiefs. I'm gonna put on this foot massager. You know what? I'll put on the foot massager. Putting on the massage while you two beat the shit out of each other. Daddy's gonna get a foot massage. We're making lineups and counting cookies. Oh, old man at the end of the world. Put on level one. Right. Eckler carried the ball 19 times, 83 yards, and a touchdown, and caught both of his targets for 17 yards in Sunday's loss to the Chiefs. After tallying 9 receptions in the Week 2 loss to the Chiefs, some expected Eckler to once again act as a pass-catching maven in the Week 11 rematch. Instead, the do-it-all back was a force on the ground, registering 83 rushing yards, good for the third-best mark since Week 3 of the 2020 season. The veteran's touchdown also put him one behind the current season leader, Jamal Williams, who is 12 on the campaign. An amazing stat considering Eckler didn't score a touchdown until Week 4. The 27-year-old should be primed for another positive outing next week against the struggling Cardinals defense. Well, that's a bang-up fucking report. DeAndre Hopkins recorded 9 receptions on 12 targets for 91 yards in Monday's loss to the Niners. Hopkins was questionable to play entering Monday night's matchup due to a hamstring injury, but he showed few signs of that issue early in the game. He recorded 3 receptions for 40 yards on the team's first 2 offensive possessions and ended the first half with 7 catches for 770 yards. However, the Cardinals' offense collapsed in the final 2 quarters, which resulted in Hopkins' production following suit. Despite the disappointing close to the game, he has earned at least 12 targets in 4 of his last 5 games on the campaign. I'm telling you, he's a keeper. Justin Herbert, Mr. Sherbert, tallied 23 completions on 30 attempts for 280 yards. 2 touchdowns, 1 interception on Sunday's loss to the Chiefs. He also carried the ball 5 times for 17 yards. Herbert Set season highs in completion percentage and yards per completion, but the Sterling outing wasn't enough to help the Chargers pull off the win. Sunday marked the first time since Week 7 the third-year signal caller tallied multiple touchdowns in a contest, and not coincidentally, Sunday also marked the return of his top two targets, Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, although the latter didn't make it through the full game after sustaining an ankle injury. At the moment, Herbert is on pace for career lows at touchdowns and rushing yards, but most of that can be explained away with the injuries to his pass catchers and the rib injury he suffered near the end of September. The Pro Bowl quarterback should be poised for an intriguing stretch with matchups against the poorest defenses, the Cardinals, Raiders, and Dolphins, over the next 3 weeks. Herbert's a player, man. Herbert's a player. Kyler Murray doesn't have an injury designation for Sunday's game against the Chargers. Full practice participation Wednesday through Friday removed most of the doubt about Murray's status, and head coach Cliff Kingsbury confirmed Friday that the Cardinals believe that their franchise quarterback is back to 100% health, according to Tyler Drake. While there's always risk of an in-game setback with hamstring injuries, Murray does not sound like he will have any limitations this weekend against a less than stellar Chargers defense. That's a bit as average as stopping the pass and something less than that. This is the run. Intriguing. 4 top cards right there, motherfucker. Colt McCoy was a limited participant in Wednesday's walkthrough practice due to a right elbow injury in his first start in place of Kyler Murray in Week 10. McCoy picked up a left knee issue. He overcame that injury and drew another start in Monday's loss to the Niners in Mexico City, only to pick up a new health concern coming out of that game. Murray seemingly is in line to be available Sunday against the Chargers after being listed as a full participant on Wednesday's practice estimate. If that comes to pass, Murray will push McCoy back to a reserve role, assuming the latter is active himself. We know he's out. James Conner rushed the ball 14 times for 42 yards and a touchdown in Monday's loss to the 49ers. He added 2 receptions and 5 targets for 12 yards. Conner joined the rest of the Cardinals' defense by turning in a fairly abysmal performance. However, he salvaged his stat line with a 2-yard touchdown plunge late in the second quarter. Otherwise, his effort was highlighted by inefficiency and mistakes, highlighted by a drop early in the second quarter that led directly to San Francisco's second touchdown of the game. With Arizona's running back depth chart extremely thin, Conner is likely to see all the volume he can handle, though he may not lead the standout production on a struggling team. Shit. That ain't no good review. All right, so we got $900 here. Ain't a lot, by any means. If we wanted to go balls out, keep these 4 fucking cards, which I am not adverse to doing. We need to back that shit up with 2 fucking punts. So you know where we're going. To the bottom of the barrel. The best we can get is Zach Horvath. So we got to see if 2 of these fucking punts are worth fucking highly stacking these 4 cards. So I got a feeling we'll be doing it a lot. Right at the bottom. Larry Roundtree III signed Roundtree to their active roster ahead of Sunday's game at San Fran. After joining the practice squad in September, Roundtree will potentially make his 2022 debut in Week 10. With Isaiah Spiller and Sony Michel still in the fold behind Austin Ekeler, though, Roundtree does not have a clear path to touches right away. All right, fuck him. Antoine Wesley. John Hightower. Tyson Williams. Javon Wims. Mr. Keelan Doss signed to the practice squad. Doss was with the Giants during training camp this summer, but was waived at the end of August. He joined the Chargers practice squad in early October and was signed to the active roster for Week 9 due to injuries before both Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. Doss was waived this past Saturday with both Allen and Williams slated to return. But he is now back with the team's practice squad and can get an opportunity to be elevated since Williams aggravated his injury in Sunday's loss to the Chiefs. However, Doss has yet to log an offensive snap this season, so he's unlikely to make much of an impact, even if he does find his way back to the active roster. That ain't good. Hunter Campmoya. Hey, fucking Big Bad Joe Reed of the fucking Lou Reed Band, all right? Richard Rodgers did not record a target in the loss to the Chiefs on Sunday. Rogers did see 21 offensive snaps with Gerald Everett sidelined, but that wasn't enough to elicit a target. Both Rogers and nominal starter Trey McKitty did not see any passing looks among the tight ends as the lone pass attempt ended up going to third stringer Stone Smart. A bit of junk time check down. Expect Rogers' playing time to fall by the wayside upon Everett's return. Jason Moore Jr. Right now, we're not seeing anybody in this junk pile. The junk pile that we like. Michael Bandy did not catch his only target Sunday in a Week 11 loss to the Chiefs. Bandy played at least 58% of the Chargers' offensive snaps in each of the team's games between Week 7 and Week 10, but he saw just 8 snaps Sunday. That was largely due to the return of both Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, though Williams re-aggravated his injury in the first half. Even if Williams is forced to miss Week 12, Bandy probably won't be a major contributor with Allen back on the field, and Joshua Palmer and Andre Carter seemingly ahead of him on the receiver chart. Jalen Guyton. Darrell Williams. Placed on injured reserve Wednesday. Williams ended a 2-game absence Week 8 at Minnesota and played 30% of the offensive snaps en route to 7 touches for 14 yards while working behind Eno Benjamin, with James Conner still sidelined. Williams was spotted on crutches after Sunday's contest and now will have to miss at least Arizona's next 4 games, meaning his next potential appearance is December 12th against the Patriots. During Williams' time on IR, Benjamin, rookie 6th-round pick Keontae Ingram, when healthy, Conner will man the team's backfield. Ooh, I love that foot massager. Oh. Chris Pierce Jr. Signed to the practice squad Wednesday. Pierce previously worked out for Arizona in late October after reaching an injury settlement with the team in early September. The undrafted tight end who spent his inaugural preseason with Arizona this summer will now rejoin the team via the practice squad. With top tight end Zach Ertz set to miss the remainder of the season, Pierce can stand to make his NFL debut as a potential game day elevation moving forward. All right. All right. Someone to keep an eye on. Hey, Ben Sekovitz. I went to your bar mitzvah. Steven Anderson. This guy really did do dick for me. I think they threw to him once. Yeah, one target. I remember that fucking game. Anderson is in line or usage with Zach Ertz out indefinitely. Following Ertz's early exit Sunday at the Rams, Anderson easily earned his latest snap share of the campaign, settling at 37% of the offensive plays. Anderson saw his first target since Week 2 and has just 1 catch on 2 targets for 2 yards through 10 games this season. As such, Anderson's impact will likely be minimal, especially with rookie second-round pick Trey McBride set to take on more of the pass-catching work at tight end in place of Ertz. I believe Max Williams caught a fucking pass in that stupid fight. Yeah, that fucking 49ers game I watched. Williams reverted to Arizona's practice squad Tuesday. Yeah, he's done. With Zach Ertz out for the season, Williams was elevated from the practice squad prior to the Cardinals' Week 11 loss to San Francisco and logged 13 snaps well behind Trey McBride's 54, but ahead of Steven Anderson's 10. Williams caught his only target for 7 yards in the loss and also played 9 special team snaps. He's a candidate to be elevated again for Week 12 if Arizona opts to carry 3 tight ends into Sunday's contest against the Chargers. That ain't confident. The Chargers designated Kelly for return from injured reserve Wednesday. Hello. With the move, the Chargers have a 21-day window to elevate the running back in practice. Though head coach Brandon Staley said Wednesday that if Kelly has a good week of practice, he could be activated ahead of Sunday's game against the Cardinals. Whenever he's back in the mix, Kelly will look to reclaim a complimentary role behind top option Austin Ekeler in an LA backfield that also includes Isaiah Spiller, Sony Michel, and Larry Roundtree. Okay, Kelly. He had a big game against the Browns. He's been out. He's a possibility for a nice punt. There's a possibility right there. Fuck's his name again? Kelly. Trey McKitty did not record a target in Sunday's loss to KC. Even with Gerald Everett out, McKitty never factored in the box score. The second-year tight end did end up playing 60% of the offensive snaps, so it wasn't as if he lacked playing time. Everett's absence is not expected to be a long-term issue, which means McKitty will likely return to a depth role. Eh. Clement signed a contract with the Cardinals on Saturday. Clement played 2 contests with the Cardinals' active roster at separate intervals this season. The veteran running back is strictly relegated to special teams at this point in the 2022 campaign. Daniel Parham Jr. placed on injured reserve Saturday. The 2022 campaign is quickly shaping up to be a lost season for Parham. The behemoth of a tight end missed the first 4 games of the regular season due to a hamstring injury and was finally activated in Week 5, only to suffer a concussion the following week. While the veteran managed to clear concussion protocol Thursday, it appears as if Parham once again will be forced to miss a large duration of time thanks to a hamstring issue. He'll be eligible to play in 4 weeks. Head coach Cliff Kingsbury confirmed Wednesday that Ertz is scheduled for surgery and will miss the remainder of the 2022 season. Second opinion apparently confirmed that Ertz won't be able to play again this season. Rookie Trey McBride took on the 3-down role following Ertz's departure from the Cardinals' Week 10 win over the Rams, but Arizona could also look to get Steven Anderson involved down the stretch. Ertz is under contract through 2024 with $4 million of his 2023 salary fully guaranteed and another $3 million guaranteed for the injury. God bless you, prick. Nothing on good old Zach Horvath. For the fuck of it, let's read about Stone Smart. Caught his lone target for 6 yards Sunday's loss to the Chiefs. The undrafted rookie actually wound up playing 19 snaps in his debut and was the only tight end to see a target, albeit a short dump off. Smart's playing time will likely cease with the eventual return of Gerald Everett. All right, we like Joshua Kelly. And oddly enough, whose name came up? Steven Anderson. And they just dropped Max Williams back down to the practice squad. So it's either Zach Horvath, who's got nothing, and has done nothing. Steven Anderson, who's now the backup tight end. I'm really willing to say fuck it on this one. Just really just go for, backup tight ends always get the goal line fucking plays. Bang. You may say I'm crazy. I know that it's true. You might think I'm crazy. All I want. All right. So out with McCoy, out with Connor. Leaving us 1,100. So we can't get Mr. Anderson. Robbie Anderson wasn't targeted while playing 33 of 71 offensive snaps during Monday's defeat to the Niners. Anderson has been active for all 5 games since the Cardinals acquired him from the Panthers before Week 7. But he has had 1 catch for -4 yards on 7 targets. His 46% snap share Monday was the second most with his current squad, but despite injuries throughout the receiving core, he has yet to make much of a mark. If Marquise Brown is able to return from IR for Sunday's contest versus the Chargers, there's a chance Anderson is a healthy scratch in Week 12. I might have to pee. Stone Smart. Let's go with Kelly again. Fucking Anderson. All right, I gotta pee. I'll be back. Stare at my winning lineup while I pee. Yeah. There's a lot of pee. Ugh. You might think I'm crazy. All I want is you. Look at that shit right there. Isaiah McKenzie, 2% owned the captain, 19% owned overall. Love that shit. Makes me fucking wet in my pants. Sorry. Out with Connor. Was that was McCoy out with Connor. So as at this point right now, we're kind of rotating around the top four cards, and then just trying to come underneath with what we're hoping is a returning Josh Kelly to spell Austin Eckler a little bit, get some fucking goal line shit, and Steven Anderson. These are $1 games, so it's worth the risk. And I'd like to see if that kind of would play out, because again, if it's a model that plays out, I can run it in the bigger games. It's kind of where like you're practicing your material, if you will. Your takedown is 100 something bucks, so that buys you 10 lineups in a bigger game next time. It's not about what you win, it's about how many lineups it gets you in the bigger contest, and if it wins at all. It's a consistent system. It's one me in baseball, and I hate baseball now because they keep pulling motherfuckers during perfect games. So here we are, face to face, a couple of silver spoons. All right. This takes us all the way down to about 1,400. Any access to anybody else? Well, you could toss Anderson in there, but again, it says Marquise Brown. Fucking Anderson hasn't done shit. Mike Williams has been ruled out for Sunday's game against the Cardinals. After suffering a setback with his ankle in his return to action week 11, Williams will sit out the weekend. Will sit out this weekend and target a potential return to the lineup week 13 against the Raiders. In Williams' absence this weekend, look for Keenan Allen and Joshua Palmer to headline the Chargers' wideout core, with DeAndre Carter also in line to see added opportunities in the team's passing attack. Well, we kind of knew that. Corner Marquise Hollywood Brown. Head coach Cliff Kingsbury said Friday that he expects Brown to play Sunday against the Chargers. The Cardinals designated Brown for return from injured reserve last Wednesday and had him out on the practice field again this week. Kingsbury said Wednesday that the speedy wideout was likely to be on a pitch count in his first game back after missing more than a month with foot injury. Brown at least sounds like he's on track to play for his first time since week 6. The Cardinals will have until 4 p.m. Saturday to officially activate Brown from IR for this weekend's game. Interesting. Interesting, if not completely true. All right. Rondale Moore has been ruled out for Sunday's game against the Chargers. The second-year pro is injured on his second snap of the Week 11 loss to San Francisco now. Ruled out for Arizona's final game before a Week 13 bye. Greg Dortch, who replaced Moore in the slot during Monday's loss, is listed as questionable with a thumb injury, while head coach Cliff Kingsbury said he expects Marquise Brown to be elevated from injury reserve. Moore's target volume could take a hit if Brown and DeAndre Hopkins both are available by the time he's healthy again. Well. What happened to Mr. Trace McSorley? Nothing. You're questionable. They don't even give a shit about him. All right. Let's continue, man. Joshua Kelly, Steven Anderson. We're running that 4-stack. 4-stack large, baby. 4-stack large. But if Kelly or fucking Steven Anderson get in the end zone, I'm fucking winning this goddamn thing. All right. Colt McCoy ain't fucking playing. But we're going to do Connor there, right? Then who's here? That's Keenan Allen, right? Joshua Palmer. And that's where Marquise Brown will be. So, boom. Brown's there waiting for me. All right. Back to the fucking sledge here. Back to the sledge. So, Connor stays. So now, Connor's our captain. So, of course, we're dumping off McCoy, which helps a little. And the question is, who do we lose here? Kyler Murray's just coming back from injury, so maybe they got him on. Maybe he's playing a little safer. Maybe not. I'm willing to go Herbert over Murray. So what do we got here? What do we get? Get a chance at a kicker? Fortunately, we do not. I'd have a shot at a kicker if I went Murray over Herbert, right? Yep. We're going to lose Herbert. We're going to keep Murray, probably get the same point production, I'm hoping. We can't get Dicker, but we can get Prater. The Chargers signed Dicker off the practice squad Tuesday. LA was out of elevations with Dicker, and because Dustin Hopkins continues to deal with a lingering hamstring strain, the team is going with the former as his place kicker for now, for at least the next 4 games, the latter now on injury reserve. 3 appearances so far for the Chargers. Dicker has made all 7 field goal attempts and all 6 potential point after tries, averaging exactly 9 points per game. Man's reliable. Poor old Dustin Hopkins. Brandon Seeley said Wednesday that Hopkins suffered a setback in his recovery. As a result of the setback, Hopkins was placed on injured reserve Tuesday, prompting the Chargers to sign Cameron Dicker to the active roster to replace him as the team's kicker. Dicker is no longer the kicker. Dicker is the kicker. Hopkins was missed in 5 of the last team's 6 contests due to a hamstring strain, and now will be sidelined for at least 4 additional contests while on IR. Ain't that but a bitch. All right, so we got to see right now if the defense has scored more points than the kicker. You know, we got to do this. It's important to do the math, everybody. Can't be too impatient with making your lineups. 8, 17, 25, 25, 10, 35, 39, 40, 41. So Matt Prater has scored 41 points. The Chargers defense has scored 2, 3, 5, 12, 16, 23, 24, 32, minus 4s, back to 28, 29, 39, 42. Holy shit, the Chargers defense has scored 1 point more than Matt Prater. And let's go see what the Cardinals defense has done. Minus 4s. 8 now gives us 4. 13. 13 and 6 is 19. 19 and 17, 29, 36, 40, 50, 53. 53 and 12 is 65, 69, 70, fucking 8. Minus 2 is 76. Cardinals fucking defense has scored 76 points this year. So what the fuck am I doing? Yeah, we're gonna run that with fucking. Let's do that. Let's run that. I'm pretty sure. No, we'll keep Kyler Murray because we're just gonna run this as a slaughter stack and just say the fucking Cardinals come back with Murray, go fucking nuts, and either Kelly. If they wouldn't be running the ball, no, let's back it up with Kelly. Unless we go Anderson, get the tight end in the end zone there. Yeah, but do we want Eckler? Can we do better than Eckler? Eckler's the top card, man. He's the fucking guy. He receives everything. He catches everything. He's the guy. Not to worry about fucking Keenan Allen. Yep, that's the way we're going. Slaughter stack. Run it. Do it. Play it. Put it. Cardinals defense is. I mean, they didn't do too well against the fucking Niners, so they'll be very low owned. But they've put up the points this year. This is a crazy league. Keenan fucking Allen. Corralled 5 of 8 targets and 94 yards on Sunday's loss to the Chiefs. He also lost a fumble. It was clear the Chargers surely missed their veteran receiver, as Allen was a frequent target in the early going. Allen's critical fumble with the Chargers driving for the go-ahead score in the fourth appeared to spell doom for the team. But the 30-year-old erased the gaffe on the ensuing possession with a terrific drive-extending 46-yard reception that ultimately led to the team's final touchdown. Mike Williams also made his return after a lengthy absence, but the big-body target was forced out of the game with an ankle injury in the second quarter. Should Williams' injury prove to be troublesome, expect more of the burden of the passing game to fall on Allen and Joshua Palmer. Allen seemed to be on somewhat of a pitch count, as he saw action on 68% of the offensive snaps in a tight game. You know what? I feel like we're getting a little bit better about. We don't need to read so much of the old stories. Let's stay with the new shit. Yeah, let's move a little faster. Now, again, you got to make a decision here. But since we got Keenan Allen, we're going to handcuff him to Justin Herbert. We're going to pull Kyler Murray, leaving us 4,400. So we can go right off the bat for Dicker. Dicker, the kicker. 22, 8, 30, but he just got here. With the 200 left, you go Anderson or Kelly. Going Kelly, man. Just make it a fucking slaughter stack. If Joshua Kelly gets one goal line run, you win that fucking tourney. Sarai. Joshua fucking Hands Palmer. Expected to remain the Chargers' number 2 receiver in Sunday's game against the Cardinals with Mike Williams listed as out for the contest. Even though Keenan Allen returned from a two-game absence due to a hamstring injury in last week's loss to the Chiefs, he was limited to playing 68% of the snaps on offense. Meanwhile, Williams aggravated his high ankle sprain and departed in the first quarter, allowing Palmer to finish as the Chargers' top receiver on the night in terms of both playing time and production. Expect Allen's usage to increase now that he's further removed from the injury, but Williams' absence once again frees Palmer up to handle reps against an opposing defense number 2 cornerback. Any uptick in targets that Allen receives week 12 may come at the expense of running back Austin Ekeler rather than Palmer, as Allen typically works out in the slot and typically runs routes in the same short and intermediate areas as Ekeler. Right off the bat, we can lose McCoy. Since it's a Charger, we're going to lose Murray. At the 5,600 we get back. Let's take a look at some other things before we settle on Prater. Trey McBride tallied 4 catches on 4 targets of 14 yards during Monday's defeat to the Niners. In the Cardinals' first game without Zach Ertz due to a likely season-ending knee injury, McBride was the biggest beneficiary among the team's tight ends, earning a 76% snap share to Max Williams' 18% and Steven Anderson's 10%. McBride also doubled up that duo in yards and targets. However, minimal those totals were. Moving forward, the rookie second-round pick is set to serve as Arizona's primary tight end, and his production could become more consistent once Kyler Murray and not Colt McCoy or Trace McSorley is leading the offense. Saying the kid is poised to blow up. Dortch. Greg Dortch is listed as questionable for Sunday's game against the Chargers and will be treated as a game-time decision. Dortch didn't practice in any capacity Wednesday through Friday, and his status takes on more importance given the upcoming absence of Rondale Moore, whose groin injury in the first quarter opened the door for Dortch to top 100 receiving yards in the loss to the Niners on Monday. While similar production is unlikely in any event, Dortch could man the slot in an Arizona offense that hopes to get Marquise Brown back from injured reserve. Head coach Cliff Kingsbury and Brown's role could be limited in the first game back. Dortch will need to prove he's healthy enough to capitalize before his team's kickoff this Sunday. DeAndre Carter caught all 3 of his targets for 33 yards in Sunday's loss to the Chiefs. The return of Keenan Allen and Mike Williams figured to relegate Carter back to his return duties, but the speedy receiver immediately returned to a prominent role after Williams suffered an ankle injury in the second quarter. Expect Carter to continue to be a mainstay in the Chargers' 3 wideout packages until that duo of Allen and Williams is completely healthy. Interesting. And A.J. Green. Green gathered in 5 of 9 targets for 50 yards during Monday's loss to the Niners. Green's usage has been yanked around this season, but he experienced a season high in targets on his second biggest snap share in Week 11. 6 of his 9 targets came from reserve quarterback Trace McSorley once the game was out of hand in the fourth quarter, as he otherwise recorded 2 catches for 10 yards working with Monday's starter Colt McCoy. There's a chance for Green to remain in the rotation in the short term with Rondale Moore now dealing with a groin injury and Marquise Brown not yet activated from injured reserve. In the end, though, DeAndre Hopkins and Greg Dortch were the main beneficiaries of the contest. So Green is on the outside looking at it within the Cardinals' offense. Still got 10 points. We can't take him. Now we can go with Dixie Carter over here. Or stick with the kicker. We're going to stick with the kicker. Right back with Kelly. This is now a slaughter stack. Slaughter stack. Talk to me. All right. Now we have a $12,000 deficit here. Unfortunately, no more Colt McCoy to pick on. So, let's get rid of Connor. And it's Marquise Hollywood Brown. Let's ditch out on Herbert. Other weapons to choose from here. Rondale Moore is out. McSorley is out. Now we got to look at Gerald Everett here. Gerald Everett practiced fully on Thursday. Everett, who was inactive for this past Sunday's loss to the Chiefs, thus is on track to return to action this weekend against the 4-7 Cardinals, who gave up 2 touchdowns to George Kittle in a Week 11 loss to the Niners. Through 9 appearances to date, Everett has put together a 34-364-2 line on 55 targets, a rate of production that provides the 28-year-old with lineup utility in deeper fantasy formats. He's had some games. This man has had some games. He's had some games. You can take him, or you can take the kicker. You take Everett, of course, you're going with your punt. If you take a kicker, what do we got? If we go with Prater, what do we have access to? Anything interesting? It's a backup running back. See, I've got Sony Michel. Rushed for 1 yard on one carry, did not see any receiving targets in the Week 11 loss to Kansas City. Michel logged just 5 offensive snaps in the contest, well behind the 45 snaps that went to Austin Ekeler and the 16 seen by Spiller. With just 3 carries and 1 receiving target over his past 3 games combined, it's clear that Michel is not slated for a major role in the Chargers' offense for the time being. Eesh. Keontae Ingram notched 5 carries for 19 yards during Monday's loss to the Niners. The Cardinals moved on from Eno Benjamin last week, effectively elevating Ingram to James Conner's direct backup. But with Conner able to handle a healthy majority of the snaps and touches, Ingram was left with only a handful of opportunities on 18 offensive plays. While the carry count was the second most of his young career, the 2022 sixth-round pick is still averaging just 2.5 yards per carry on his 19 rushes to date. Ingram thus doesn't hold much sway without Conner missing time. Now what? Everett. And we take the punt on Mr. Anderson. No, I still like Kelly. If given the choice, I would take Kelly. Kelly doesn't play, I switch everything to Anderson. Joshua Kelly is not activated. We switch to Anderson. All right, 11-5. So we get the cut Colt McCoy. Everett's there sitting in the captain's chair. So we'll get rid of Kyler Murray. And what do we got? Ooh, shit, Joshua Palmer. He's a beast. Palmer over Dicker? Yeah, we don't have any receivers in here. We just have the tight end. We got Hopkins over there for Kyler Murray, so let's go with Palmer. I'm going to take the punt. Josh Kelly. Josh Kelly could be our fucking sleeper. We keep lining into some slaughter stacks, but that's the way to go sometimes. We just feel like one team's just going to kick the shit out of the other. A.J. Green. Let's pull out Mr. McCoy. Since it's A.J. Green, we'll handcuff him to Kyler. Now you can take James Conner right here. You take Keenan Allen. Take Joshua Palmer. Regardless of who you pick, you know you're just taking a punt behind him. So it's a case of: do you want Conner? Do you want the carries? Does he bounce back here? You can go double kicker if you actually wanted to, because you already got Green in there, so you don't need another Arizona receiver. But you definitely can go for a fucking, since you don't have Herbert in there, you can go safe and go with the run game. We can go totally crazy and double kicker it, which is exactly what we're going to do. Because I can't decide, I'm going to double kicker that shit. Sometimes you can't decide, just make a crazy call. Boom. We got DeAndre Carter in there, so we got Herbert. It's going to cut Murray. Now, again, we can take Connor, roll it at the top of the food chain here. Or again, you can double kicker it. No, we did that. I don't want to just keep doing that. Palmer seems like he's a hot hand right now, so we're going to go with Josh Palmer and Josh Kelly. So again, it essentially just keeps turning into slaughter stacks. But then you got Carter and Palmer there. I don't really like that. For $1, I'll risk it. Dortch in the captain spot. We can cut McCoy. We can cut Herbert. It really just keeps coming up this way. I think we got to roll with some Connor action here. We can't completely sell Connor down the river. The man has put up fucking points before. Back his ass up with Josh Kelly. Of course, if Dortch doesn't end up playing, we'll substitute somebody in there. Maybe Kyler Murray, maybe somebody. Figure it the fuck out. Trey McBride. So again, we're going to cut Colt McCoy. We're going to cut Justin Herbert. Joshua Palmer. And I think we need some Keontae Ingram since we don't have Connor in there. He is now the direct backup. We're going to play around with that one. Now this is more fun now because now we got Dicker in the captain spot. All we got to do right here is cut McCoy and throw in Josh Kelly. Bang. Again, Prater's in. Cut McCoy. For the sheer crazed fuck of it, I have to run him once. Otherwise, he'll fuck me. I got to run Zach Horvath. Just one fucking lineup right there is where I'm running his ass. If he gets in that fucking end zone, I'll be pissed off that I ignored him. Chargers defense. So we're going to run out McCoy here. We're going to throw in Josh Kelly. That's how easy it is. We get our core fucking cards in there, and we hope and pray that the Chargers defense gets a pick six on Kyler. Spiller. Is he worth a captain's chair? Let's see what we got here. Spiller carried 4 carries for 11 yards and also caught both of his targets for an additional 11 yards in Sunday's loss to the Chiefs. Sunday marked the biggest disparity in the platoon backup running back position as Spiller outsnapped Sony Michel 16-5, easily outgaining the veteran for the third straight game. The rookie hasn't done a whole lot with the extra opportunities, but it's likely he'll be a factor with Josh Kelly eventually returns. It's likely he'll still be a factor when Josh Kelly eventually returns off injured reserve. All right, Spiller, I guess I got to run you just for the sake, but I'm going to back you up with Josh Kelly. So literally, we have all 3 running backs in this lineup. Could be dangerous. Could be the loss of a dollar. You can always get a little more risky. All right, so we got the Cardinals D in there. I feel like I got to run Robbie Anderson once now. Just once. Just to be safe. Keontae Ingram, he's the direct backup to Connor. So we can lose McCoy. What do we get? Sony Michel. Again, if you don't run them at least once, then somehow they'll find a way to fuck you. And here we have Sony Michel. I can't run Sony Michel there, so I'm going to run a Chargers slaughter stack with Herbert at the top. We got Herbert, Eckler, Allen, Palmer. If I can do it, Everett. 900 left. Perfect. We run Steven Anderson. Look at that shit. Bang. Lineup like that, could that lineup be worth $5,000? I'm willing to bet $10 on it. I like that slaughter stack so much. I'm going to put it in the $5,000 game. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. May fate and fate decide your fortune if you should win. Put your money right here on the new Pharaoh's Lounge Kickstarter. It kicks ass. I kick ass. We all kick ass. Everybody's happy. Peace, love, and war, and all that other shit in between.